2 months of college had finally passed. The big day had arrived. We were going to start our first clinical placement. We were so excited and so looking forward to seeing our first babies being born, to support women and get involved in their care. After such a long introduction, it would be so rewarding to experience and see in practice what we've been learning about in the classroom, what we've been learning about from books. But most of us were very nervous and wary about what to expect. We remembered our maternity tour of one of the hospitals that had taken place a couple of weeks previously. The memory still haunts me. We divide ourselves into small groups. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, we enter the forbidding, dark structure of the hospital building. Walking in a long row, one by one, through the narrow, drafty, dark, tunnel-like labyrinth of the corridors and staircases, we finally stop. We are standing, gaping, in front of swinging, gate-like heavy doors, with paint peeling off, broken handles, chipped corners, and greasy hand marks all over them. There is a menacing sign over the doors, written in capital but crooked letters, stating, "The Labour Ward." One could not escape comparison with the gates of a detention camp with its motto, "Work makes perfect." It takes some courage to cross this forbidding entrance. And so it takes us a while to get together and to follow our lecturer, who manages, using some force, to open the heavy doors so that we can enter the ward. Now we can see what our future work is going to be like. Envisage what our next 3 years are going to be like. At least half of our training we will spend in clinical environments like this. We can finally meet the real, practicing midwives, not just the academics that we've been having contact with since the start of our course. Hopefully, they'll become our role models. Midwives who have the responsibility for mentoring us, who will support us, who will share their skills and knowledge with us for the benefit of women and babies. We will have to work very closely with them. Our professional development will depend so much on them. We want to introduce ourselves to them, to say hi, to share with them our enthusiasm. We are expecting that 1 or 2 midwives might come and greet us, show us around the ward, say how pleased they are to have such keen students around. But no, there is no one there to welcome us. The half-lit, dark-painted, oppressively hot corridor seems empty. We can hear screaming from behind some of the closed doors. Ear-piercing, high-pitched screaming. Every now and then we hear male and female voices shouting, and then there is total silence. We all freeze. In a moment, the terrifying screaming starts again. A door starts banging. We can hear the bleeping of a heart monitor. Another door bangs. A harassed-looking woman in green overalls looks at us. She doesn't seem to be at all comprehending who we are, what we are doing here. The continuing, stereophonic screaming gives us the shivers. We want to get out. Our lecturer gives the woman a smile. "Hi, these are the new Oh, we're too busy. We don't have the time. They are in the way, can't you see? Just take them out of here. When they start, then they can see it all." She doesn't even give us a look. She doesn't acknowledge us. Then she says in a hostile manner, "Excuse me," and charges through us. We glue ourselves to the dirty walls to make space for her and try to make ourselves invisible. And to think that we were hoping for a smile. But then, being hot and sweaty, covered in blood, is it so surprising that she didn't have time for any graces? That she looked unwelcoming and harassed? The poor midwife. We may feel like her one day. Another angry-looking midwife comes out from a different room. She is the sister in charge, it turns out, and she knew that we were coming. She doesn't have time for us either. But she directs our lecturer to the only delivery room that is empty and ready to admit the next woman in labour. Her husband has just rung the ward saying that they are on their way. We have to be quick if we want to see the room. Excitedly, we get in. The first impression is horror. The room looks so frightening. The strong fluorescent lights are fully on, giving the room the atmosphere of an interrogation chamber, a space capsule where you can observe your victims with sharp clarity, where nothing can be hidden and there is nowhere to hide. Standing in the centre is a raised metal bed with stirrups, covered in tired-looking white sheets, unwelcoming and oppressive, dominating the room. The room is full of overbearing equipment, cold, shiny and metal, scissors, forceps, amni hooks, plenty of gauze, bowls, big syringes and needles, drip stands, big ugly gas cylinders with tubing, resuscitaire. You can't even try to imagine what all this is for. The coldness of the light contrasts sharply with the feeling of oppressive heat. The smell is offensive. And the walls must have been last painted 100 years ago. One couldn't even describe what colour they are. Tucked under the bed, in between the stirrups, we notice a bucket full of sanitary pads, cotton wool and gauze, all covered in blood and other bodily fluids. Someone forgot to remove it. When we look more closely, there are streaks of dried blood on the legs of the bed and on the floor. In the sink, the tap is dripping. The ceiling is cracked. There is a damp patch on the wall. The handle on the door is broken. The woman who is going to have her baby in that room has just arrived. We can hear her cries, her gasping and puffing. We leave the room as quickly as we can. We can't even bring ourselves to look at her. We feel so embarrassed, so sorry, so scared. Through the dark, cold corridors, in silence, we move to the postnatal ward. We can hear crying babies. The oppressive heat hits us again. The ward is full. There are crowds of people. Greasy curtains with tacky patterns are half drawn around most of the beds. Overflowing bins stuck in every empty space are full of blood-stained linen. Exhausted-looking, half-conscious women are surrounded by hordes of their loud visitors who, eating and drinking, are sitting on their beds. The catheter bags, bursting with urine, hanging off the beds or standing on the floor, are competing for space with their visitors' feet. Other women, their hair unkempt, their nighties undone, are silently leaning on their chairs, tucked away in the corners, as if trying to hide, looking depressed, pale, and in pain. On the floor, and on the walls, on the curtains, and in the air are the remnants of the traditional cuisine from all around the world, from Nepal to Santiago, from Lagos to India, from Birmingham to Marrakesh. The trolley with the hospital food has also just arrived, accompanied by the sound of clattering cutlery. It is parked next to the overflowing toilets. The noise, the dirt, the heat, and the smell are just unbearable. And where are the midwives? Here they are, pale, exhausted, ghost-like figures, pushing the bins around, cleaning the sluice, changing the sheets, wearing gloves, green overalls and plastic aprons, with dead, mask-like faces. They look detached, absent, as if not there, as if on drugs. In fact, they are absent. We smile, but they don't return the smiles. We talk, but they don't hear. They don't notice us or anyone else. Here they are, in this crowd of people, engaging in menial tasks, making themselves invisible, trying to survive. The midwife-ghosts of institutionalised, impersonal maternity care. Is this what we are soon going to be like?